Anna Kiiza, her best friend, 106.1 Next Radio. Good morning, 24 minutes to 10 o'clock. I asked Kitui earlier if she knew what DPP was in full. She actually did know it.
I did.
And she shouted it to the top of her lungs.
I'm so proud of myself.
Yeah. Then I asked, what does the DPP do? I know what
but we're in this together. But today we're going to learn, no?
Yeah, all of us are here to learn.
Well
With us in the studio is a senior state attorney from the office of the DPP, Anna Kiiza. Good morning, Anna.
Good morning, Marcus.
How are you today?
Fine, thank you. How are you?
Okay, so the DPP, and please note we're here, you're going to explain to us as 3-year-olds.
Okay.
So, the Director of Public Prosecutions, okay? Who is the Director of Public Prosecutions right now?
Okay, the Director of Public Prosecutions is Honorable Justice Mike Chibita.
Mike Chibita.
So it's an office and it's also an individual.
Yes, now the office that we have is the institution.
Okay.
That is the office of the Director of Public Prosecutions. Now the person who heads that institution is called the Director of Public Prosecutions.
And that's Justice Mike Chibita.
That is Justice Mike Chibita.
What is the role of both the justice and the office?
No.
Let's start with the office.
Okay.
Yes.
The office of the Director of Public Prosecutions, our mandate is to prosecute all criminal cases across the country.
Okay.
But our office is created under Article 120 of the 1995 Constitution.
Which says...
Yes. So under that article, that is where our mandate is created, under Article 120. And our mandate is to examine and manage all criminal cases across the country, to promote, observe all prosecution services, promotion standards, and ensuring that we institute criminal cases across the country, we prosecute criminal cases across the country, we take over criminal cases across the country. Also, we withdraw criminal cases across the country that have been instituted. So if we find that there is no sufficient evidence to sustain charges, criminal charges, then the director, only the Director of Public Prosecutions has the mandate to withdraw those charges. Okay?
Only the Director?
Only the Director, but the rest of us, we prosecute cases on his behalf. We do all this other work on his behalf. But when it comes to withdrawing criminal charges, only him.
Okay, so
only the Director. Then also we direct criminal investigations. We work with the office, we work with the police department. So the police investigates, we direct, and we guide, and we give legal advice on how criminal cases are supposed to be investigated.
Just to be sure that we're on the same page. The Attorney General's role is government's lawyer.
Yes.
To defend on behalf of government.
Civil matters.
Civil matters.
Yes.
Any person who breaks a law in Uganda has broken the law against the Republic because it's against the Constitution.
Yes.
So are you officially government official prosecutor?
Yes, we are.
Long story short, that's what your role is.
Yes.
Prosecute all matters.
Criminal matters.
Civil, no.
Those under the office of the Attorney General, those handle civil matters. They sign contracts on behalf of government. They do all the institute proceedings on behalf of government. They defend government in civil
cases
and contractual matters. For us, we handle criminal cases. Yes, criminal cases.
I've seen that you have a vision, mission, which are I think there's a vision, a mission, and a function of the DPP's office.
Yes.
Please read them out so that we are together. The vision. This is a tall vision order. A crime-free society. How is it humanly possible that we shall get this when these guys
here in Uganda
seem to look for any loophole whatsoever to get a crime-free society?
The vision of the Office of the Director of Public Prosecutions is a crime-free society. That is our vision.
That's what you're working towards, eventually.
Yes, that is what we are working toward.
When we hard work,
that is the vision. Okay? Now, to get there, our mandate is to handle and prosecute criminal cases in a just, effective, and efficient manner. And then also our goal and purpose is to handle and prosecute criminal cases in the whole country.
In the whole country.
Yes.
So which means you work very closely, like you said earlier on, with the police because they investigate and then you then prosecute.
Yes.
There was
We guide
the process for the
the
police.
investigations, and we prosecute. We give legal advice on how investigations are supposed to be carried out.
There seems to be a concern that there is a backlog of cases.
Yes.
And this is both investigatively and prosecution-wise.
Yes.
And there seems to, and one of the judiciary was complaining that what we need is more judges for starters. And do you feel that there's a genuine backlog in these cases, whether it's, and I'm not saying that we're pointing fingers to the police, that they're not investigating, or you're genuinely understaffed, or we generally just have too many criminals, and therefore they're piling up. What do you think? Do you think this is true? We have a genuine backlog?
Yes, we do have a genuine backlog. But then also, for as long as humanity exists, there will always be crime.
Yes.
Continues.
But it is true, we have a problem with backlog. That is true. However, right now, and I will limit myself to criminal prosecutions
Yes,
only. I will
yes.
not go to the civil part.
Yes.
But right now, what we are doing as the Office of the DPP, working together with UN Women, we have embarked on a case review exercise. The purpose of the case review exercise is to read, study the files, and weed out cases that do not warrant prosecution, or cases that we know we will not be able to sustain a conviction or secure a conviction at trial.
Based on evidence
Sort
at
of
hand.
sieving.
Yes,
How you
sieving.
feel
Yes,
should be.
Yes, sieving.
Yeah.
Okay.
Now, some of those cases include removing or categorizing cases that involve juvenile offenders. These are children below the age of 18, but above the age of 12, who have committed criminal offenses. Now, when we weed those cases out of the system, they are given priority and they undergo a trial and they are got out of the system. So they will no longer be part of the backlog because they are also part of the backlog.
Yes.
Yeah.
Then also we weed out cases where we see there isn't sufficient evidence. Now those cases are weeded out so that they are also not part of the backlog. Those where we have accused persons who have died. When an accused person dies, that is the end of the case, unlike a civil matter.
It's not like you could bring them to justice.
No, yes. So when we weed out such cases, we reduce on the backlog. So that is what we have been doing right now, and we've carried out this exercise in Gulu region, Masindi region, Fort Portal region, and Soroti regions. So at the moment, as a result of this exercise, we now have high court sessions that are going on in the same regions. High court sessions, but also cases in the magistrates' courts. We're not limiting this only to high court cases, and those are capital
offenses, yes.
But we are also doing this in magistrates' courts.
Okay.
Yes, to handle semi-capital cases. So,
okay.
all the way down. Now, this exercise has helped us to know how many cases do we have in the system, and we are prioritizing them.
You've created a structure to be able to sort that.
Yes, beginning with the older cases, not the new ones of 2019, 2018. No, what I think it would not be fair.
There's wait in line.
So what we say to do is first in, first out. For those who are in earlier, we are now handling those first, and we have prioritized these cases to make sure that we reduce on the case backlog.
Okay.
So that is what we have embarked on, and that's what we are embarking on right now. And in Kampala, there's also an ongoing high court session at the High Court. Yes, and these cases involve murder cases that are as a result of a domestic setting. Now, let me say a husband and wife have fought, and one of the spouses ends up dead. You see, if maybe if maybe a stepfather or a stepmother has killed one of the stepchildren, those are cases as a result of a domestic setting.
Yes.
Those are gender-based violence cases. Then also cases of defilement, cases of rape, those are sexual gender-based violence cases.
Yeah.
So those cases right now are being handled across the country, but also within Kampala at the High Court.
And all this within the
So-
function of the DPP's office.
Oh yeah, yes, because that is our mandate to prosecute criminal cases across the country.
Speaking of the DPPs, the function of the DPPs, apart from withdrawal of cases, what else does he do? What?
We institute criminal proceedings.
Ah,
We
okay.
institute criminal cases against any person. Let me say, I'll give an example. If you are walking on the street and somebody steals your bag from you or your phone, these are the ones that happen every day.
Every day, yeah.
So when you're lucky and the person has been caught and dragged at police, even if they did not get them, but you as the person whose property has been stolen, you
The
are,
Kitui, I can.
yes, Kitui, yes, you are mandated to go and report your case at police at the nearest,
Police station.
even a police post.
Okay.
The police station may be far, but you have a police post. So you go and report your case at the police post. They will register your complaint. They will give your matter a file number. Then they will open up a file for you. Okay? They first give it an SD reference number. Then after that, they now give it a criminal. They put it under the criminal register book, and that is a CRB number. Then they give you an investigating officer. Your case is allocated an investigating officer. So
The person you call
investigating-
every time you
Yes.
need to get updates.
Yes. So this investigating officer, his role is to obtain a statement from you. If you have witnesses who are there, he is supposed to obtain statements from
them.
those
From them as well,
witnesses.
yeah.
If the accused person has been arrested, or if he hasn't yet been arrested, he's supposed to help you coordinate with the rest of the police to have the accused person
Arrested.
arrested.
Okay.
Now, as the investigations are going on, they bring the file to our office.
Ah,
So
okay.
when they bring the file to our office, we advise them how, and this I'm using like the simplest cases. So we read through the file and we see how are these investigations being conducted. Is the evidence sufficient? If it is not sufficient, we advise police investigate on A, B, C, D, F, G. If they've not done a good job on a particular
Investigation or case.
statement. Let me say, Kitui, you said, when my bag was taken from me, Marcus was there, and Marcus saw what happened. Now, if the police does not go ahead to obtain a statement from Marcus, then we advise police, no, you obtain a statement from
Marcus.
Yeah.
Let Marcus also tell us
Let it
what he
collaborate.
saw. Yes.
Somebody learned, say, I had the 3 million in the bag.
Collaborate. Did Marcus see that 3 million? Was it actually there? Did you get it from the bank? Had you withdrawn the 3 million shillings
Yeah.
from
Is
the
there
bank?
evidence that
receipt?
If
I
you
got
did,
that
then
money
we need
or I
a
had
bank
that money?
statement or
Yeah.
something to show that. Yeah, so we come in to make sure that investigations are properly conducted, to make sure
Okay.
that we are able to sustain a conviction in court.
So when these people, and I'm going to ask this, somebody who it happens and then they get a private lawyer, what happens to those people? Are all criminal cases supposed to come to the DPP's office?
Yes, all criminal cases are supposed to come to the DPP's office. But there are those who institute private, what let me say, it's a private institution. Let me say, somebody is aggrieved, they don't go to report their case at police, they go to the magistrate. Those are private prosecutions. Some people do that, and it is permissible under the law.
Okay.
However, as the office of the DPP, that is our mandate to take over criminal prosecutions.
Yes.
And we do take over private prosecutions that have been instituted.
Or you would take them over eventually?
Oh, yeah, yes. Yes, we do.
Okay.
Because that is our mandate to prosecute all criminal cases across the country. So people institute private prosecutions. They do institute them. and it is permissible under the law. It is provided for under the law. But if they institute them, we are mandated to take them over.
Can I ask how many, because you're a senior state attorney
Yes.
in the office, without giving actual numbers, do you think that the number of prosecutors like yourself that are out there who are mandated to do this job are sufficient,
No,
considering the level of crime?
No, and I think this is an issue across the country.
Yeah.
In all government offices. There is a problem of insufficient manpower. That is there.
Yeah.
So knowing what our mandate is and knowing how the public relies on us, we still have to do our work.
Yeah.
The same way the police is understaffed, but because they know what their mandate is, they go out and work. So we are mandated to serve the country.
Okay,
let's assume that there is a particular case, criminal case that is ongoing, and the investigative officer is, for lack of another word, taking his time. I don't want to use compromised, but let's just say taking his time.
Yes.
What is a citizen of the country supposed to do with the help of the DPP's office at that point?
We have a complaints desk in the office of the DPP. It is not only at our head office at Workers' House, but we have we have offices across the country. We are in every district. Let me say that in almost every district. We have an office there. Now, we have a complaint desk in every office. At head office, the complaints desk is headed by an assistant director of public prosecutions. She's called Faith Turumanya. She heads the complaints desk. Now, across the country, the complaints, I may not call it a desk, but when you have a complaint,
There's an office in there for complaints.
there is an officer mandated to handle that complaint, and that officer is an attorney. Okay. Now, that officer is usually the resident state attorney. The person who is heading that office is usually mandated to handle a complaint. Now, if you have reported a case at police, Marcus, and your case, you see there's no progress. You reported your case a month ago. The investigating officer keeps on telling you, no, Marcus, come back next week. Come back next week. Come back next week. Nothing is going on.
And that happens?
Yes, it does happen.
A lot, actually.
A lot. More than we think.
Yes.
Now, Marcus, you are mandated to walk into any of our offices. Let me say you are in Kabale. Let me say Kabale. And you reported your case at Kabale police station. The investigating officer is taking forever to give you feedback. He's not telling you how far your case has gone. You're supposed to walk into our offices.
The Kabale office?
Yes. The office of the resident state attorney, Kabale. You request to see the resident state attorney. You will find a secretary. At the reception, you explain why you are there. The secretary will go to that officer, the resident state attorney, the person who is heading that office, and will tell them, there's somebody called Marcus, he has a complaint, and he would like you to listen to him. You will be ushered into that office. That is how it's supposed to be. You will be ushered into that office. You explain to the resident state attorney what your issue is with the police.
File number, case number,
yes.
CR number.
Then they will ask you, okay, have you reported your case at police? Yes.
Correct.
When did you report? I reported a month ago. Okay, 2 months ago, maybe even 6 months ago, because those cases are there.
True story. Yeah.
Some 8 months ago, and nothing has been done by the police to forward your case to the office of the DPP. So then the resident state attorney will then ask you, explain to me what happened. Now, if what you have explained to him has not been written down, then the resident state attorney will require you to put that in writing in a language that you're comfortable with. If you're comfortable with Ruchiga, you write it down in Ruchiga.
Yourself too, Marcus. Even you.
Correct.
If you're comfortable writing it in English, you write it down in English, in the language that you are comfortable with. So we are mandated, or we are expected to go through your complaint. On that complaint, you write your name, the file number, okay, the CRB number, or the SD reference number of your file. Then usually you know who has committed that offense against you. So you will also write Uganda versus
The culprit.
Yes.
something.
Yes.
So it will be on the basis of that complaint that we will then call for your file from police. Okay? We call for your file in writing. You're supposed to get a copy of that calling letter. We give you a copy, personal copy for Marcus. Another copy is taken to the police station, and we retain a file copy. Okay. Now, when we call for the file, usually police brings those files within a day or two. The files come.
Operative
When
word
you
here
call.
is
When you call for them.
usually.
Usually.
Usually, yes.
Usually within a day.
And I
but there are
said-
some unusual days.
And I said that on purpose.
Yes.
Usually. Because there are instances where you have a stubborn police officer
True story.
who will not forward the file. And you find yourself picking your phone and calling either the OCCID or the regional CID to involve the bosses in this to make
Yes.
sure that the file is brought.
is brought.
But 90% of the time, those files are brought.
They are brought.
Okay.
Yes. So we read through them and we find out why has the file delayed at police. You see, some of them maybe if they need a forensic report, let me say, from a handwriting expert, and maybe it has taken a while. This is in cases if it's a forgery, we need a report from a handwriting expert. If it has taken a while, your file will not be brought because they know if they bring it, we will bounce it back. They will tell you, okay, yes, you've done this, but for us to successfully prosecute this case, we need a forensic report from a handwriting expert. So we read through the file and we see why has the file delayed. If it has been as a result of carelessness by the police officer, then we take it up seriously with the OCCID to make sure that
There's no negligence anymore.
there's no negligence or delay of people's
So if you
files.
find that for whatever reason that, and sadly we might have come to a close, but if you find that this case has not been completely investigated,
Yes.
like there's many loopholes to the
Yes,
case,
yes.
do you send it back? Do
Yes.
you then take over the investigation yourself
We send back the file to, but when we
to
send
the
it,
same incompetent guy?
depending on why
The
the,
reason it
file
delayed.
had delayed. Yes, depending on why the
Again,
file
she said
had
sometimes
delayed.
there could be a report that's missing, a forensic
Yes,
report or whatever.
yes,
So
yes. So depending on why the file has delayed, if it is not as a result of the incompetence of a police officer, we send it back, and the same investigating officer continues with those
Continues.
investigations. So we
But now you
identify.
follow up.
follow up.
Yes, our office follows up, okay, because they know once once they have carried out the investigations or the issues that we have identified, because we identify them and we write down in the file. Once those issues have been ironed out and investigations have been done on those things, they bring back the file for us to read through and say, okay, so this is how far you've gone. Okay, is there anything else missing? No. If it is still missing, we say, now go back and do this.
And
this
guess
and
X,
this.
X, X.
If it is not missing, then we
can
sanction
then
the
take
file
over.
and take it to court. But there are also cases that are prosecution-led investigations.
Where
Those-
you started.
we don't start it. Police. Okay, somebody reports a case at police.
Yeah.
But we guide the investigations from the start.
From the very beginning.
Prosecution-led investigations. But I'll give an example of the Kampala 2010 bombings that happened at Lugogo.
Yes.
Those were prosecution-led investigations. We were going to the field. At that time, we had the late Joan Kagezi.
Yes.
She was going there. She was moving alongside the FBI, alongside our police here.
Yeah.
She was with them all the way, step by step, saying, okay, you do this, okay, do this, okay, do this. Now we need this.
Prosecution-led
So those are
investigations.
prosecution-led
So
investigations.
you go and guide the investigation
from the start.
without waiting for the report to come to you.
Without waiting for the file to come to us. So
Got it,
we are
got
there
it.
from the start.
I
And
have a, I've been done with my question. Njaga kubuza nga fala.
Okay.
But don't judge me, especially you. Don't judge me. So,
We're among land people.
Leave me alone.
Ogendo
Leave me alone,
kuswaza
Naga.
wanaogenda
Leave me.
kuvuma.
my stupid, I've already warned you it's a stupid question.
Please ask
Now, yeah.
to it's okay.
You know these movies where they say, well, you have a right to remain silent, If you don't have a lawyer, one will be after. Are you the ones who give the lawyers?
The state.
Through the DPP or?
No, not through the DPP. Under the...
The DPP prosecute. Those are when say you have a right.
Are you leave me?
Those are the ones to
Are you leave
defend.
me?
Under the provisions of the 1995 Constitution, every person who has committed an offense has a right to a lawyer for capital cases and semi-capital cases. If you cannot afford a lawyer, the government of Uganda is mandated to provide you one at trial.
So you people be versing those ones?
Yes. It's us who
So this one is guilty.
prosecute.
Remember, for them, they are the government heart. So when the government of Uganda versus Kitui, government is them.
Okay.
Yes, it's not us who pronounce somebody guilty at the end of the trial. It is the court that pronounces you guilty at the end of that trial.
Anna, thank you so much for your time. Unfortunately, we've run out of time. I'm sure you'll be back sooner to...
Yes, one more thing.
Yeah?
Please, Marcus, allow me. I will re-echo this. We have an ongoing High Court session. We need people to come and testify. When you report a case at police, we take over the case eventually, and we prepare the case for trial. If you do not come to testify in court, then the accused person will be released, and the person will go back
free.
to the village.
I think these are the things we've been complaining about. Yes. You need to go and testify.
Yes, you need to go and testify. Kitui, if they've stolen your bag,
I go and say he's the one. I saw him.
Go and testify. If you have witnesses who witnessed what happened,
I take them also.
take Marcus along. Let him go and tell court
unless
what
he's
happened.
the thief.
Marcus is let him go, okay, with you, and any other witnesses that you have. Let them go and testify and tell court what happened. When witnesses don't come to testify, we
have no evidence.
We get frustrated because even if I know your case inside out, I cannot stand and testify because I was not there. I'm supposed to lead you in court and guide you on how to testify, to tell your story. Okay, then I give the technical bit of it on how it's supposed to be done. But Marcus, go tell your story.
Okay.
So that this person who stole your bag doesn't steal somebody else's bag. So we have murder cases at the High Court. We have defilement cases. We have rape cases and there's a trial going on at the High Court. Please, when they summon you to go and testify,
you are not the guilty one. They're not going to do anything to you. You go and testify.
Please go and testify. There is nothing to fear about because all we want from you is to tell your story.
That's it.
Tell your story. And what we usually tell people is this: if you know you're going to say what happened, no matter how many questions they ask you, you will not fail to answer because you're telling the truth. But once you start lying, then you start contradicting yourself, then you start giving another lie on top of another lie, then we end up losing. No, you end up losing the case. I'm prosecuting
on my behalf.
So come to court and testify. When you come, please speak the truth, okay? And we will win these cases. All right.
Anna, thank you so much for your time.
Thank you, Marcus.
And I'm sure you'll be back because I'm sure AA can see there's a lot more to discuss.
Yes, there's a lot more to discuss, but you've given me very limited time, so I had to complete.
We will find time.
Okay.
Thank you very much.
Morning Zoo continues first thing.